James Comer could have produced the evidence, and he didn't.
He did. A Chinese company transferred money to a shell company owned by Hunter and Jim Biden.
It is his son, after all.
Let's go.
New photos just leak proving that Joe Biden lied when he said he did not discuss Chinese business with his son. There's photos of Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, with President Xi shaking hands, now public. It's all out. We're going to have, this is going to bring back John Fetterman on The View. This is going to bring up some CNN stuff. Welcome to John Mike Keene as we expose everything and let you know about the pardon situation. Trump should get a pardon. Hunter should not. Let's watch.
It is his son, after all, and people do have sympathy for that. But a lot of people are angry with him about it. What do you say?
Well, I think it's undeniable that the case against Hunter Biden was really politically motivated, but I also think it's true that the trial in New York for Trump that was political as well too. Now it's that, and in both cases, I think a pardon is appropriate.
Two political trials. John Fetterman's wrong about that it was political to go after Hunter. It really wasn't. He was flat out guilty. It was indeed political that they went after Trump. And so hats off to him just for being able to admit that. He's the only Democrat that publicly has said that going after Trump in all those New York cases and making him into a felon was political. So he gets credit for being right even 50% of the time, which most Democrats won't even manage. Like these ones that are still trying to pretend like there's no corruption in Joe Biden. There's still no proof that he enriched himself. That's the claim of the CNN host who is challenged by a CNN guest, and he just proves it to her, shows the chain of command on how Joe Biden got enriched by China.
So when did you see the proof of Joe Biden enriching himself? I take his brother and his son, perhaps.
I'll give you the direct line.
Otherwise,
I'll give you the direct
line. Your colleague, James Comer, could have produced the evidence, and he didn't.
He did. A Chinese company transferred money to a shell company owned by Hunter and Jim Biden that then transferred money directly to Jim and Sarah Biden's shell company that then transferred the money to Jim and Sarah's personal account, who then immediately wrote a check for $40,000 to Joe Biden.
This is so funny because the CNN host is arguing with him. When does she ever argue with a Democrat? That's Rep. Lawler on the show. He gave a clear chain of command on how the money went from China to Joe Biden, period. And now he's going to have to pardon himself, gang. He's going to have to pardon himself before he leaves office. Joe Biden, he for sure is going to pardon his brother, Jim Biden. Now, here's those leaked photos I'm telling you about. This one is Biden and Hunter Biden with 3 Chinese businessmen. Remember, Hunter Biden claimed he never discussed business with his son. And now we have a full chain of money going from China to Joe Biden. Obvious that he discussed it with them. If you have these leaked, uncovered, priceless photos that prove his guilt. This is why Joe Biden will have to pardon himself. Here's one of the tweets from John Solomon breaking. Newly released photos show Hunter and Joe Biden with Chinese officials in 2013. This is the investigation that the FBI slow-walked along with the IRS, tying it up so that the investigation would run out of time, and then they could claim statute of limitations made it beyond prosecuting Hunter Biden. Here's our final photo right here with President Xi, Joe Biden, and Hunter Biden. Leaked out. This has been kept secret forever from us. Here's CNN with more of the debate of a CNN host taking the Democrat position because they haven't learned anything from the election, guys. They're still doing it.
Trump was president for 4 years. He wanted to charge Joe Biden. Why did the charges not come? And I think that still remains an open question. if there is something illegal happening here, there should be charges on the basis of what you're saying, and there have not been.
He just pardoned Hunter
that is
for an 11-year time period.
Now, you can't hear it over that, but that law, the rep is bringing up a great point. He said she goes, there's no proof that Biden enriched himself. And he said Hunter just got pardoned for like what would have been an 11-year sentence of years and years, 11 years of crime that he's been committing. He just got pardoned for it. That's an admission of guilt. And he was not charged by Republicans. He was not charged by Jim Jordan, James Comey. He was James Comer. I'm sorry. He's not. He was charged by Biden's own Department of Justice. Biden's own Department of Justice. The criminals that slow walked the whole thing ended up admitting they had to charge Hunter Biden. If they were doing their job, they'd also charge Jim Biden. They'd also charge Joe Biden. They charge all these other family members in the Biden family that took money. Remember, this is what Rep. James Comer exposed was the amount of payments from these banks, massive creation of hundreds of shell companies to pass money between each other and to Biden families. But they still have never named one product that Joe Biden represented to China, like that he sold property to China. It's easy to look at Donald Trump's businesses, right? He has a bunch of towers on the New York skyline. So it's easy to see what Trump does for a living. The Biden family, crooked Biden family, has never produced one product. Therefore, the product they were selling to China was access to Joe Biden. And the same thing to Ukraine. That's what they've been paying for, is access to the big guy who gets 10%. My dad is what Hunter said on that phone call. This is all being buried. And then it finally takes someone like John Fetterman on The View accidentally telling the truth.
America's confidence in these kinds of institutions have been damaged by these kinds of cases. And we cannot allow these kinds of institutions to be weaponized against our political opponents. And it's very clear both trials were politically motivated and weaponized that on the other side.
They'll say that about the J6 people too, though, right? That's what they're going to say on the other side. That
you're ding dong right. We're going to say it, that the J6 was absolutely politicized against the J6ers by Democrats to create an argument that Trump was an insurrectionist. That's the only reason why men are rotting in jail right now with inflated sentences. Some of them didn't even have a trial, and they're rotting in jail. And Trump is going to pardon them. Since we're on the subject of pardons, Biden illegitimately pardoned his own son and lied, saying that he wouldn't pardon him. And then Trump had made a promise when he ran. So he ran for president saying, I will pardon many of the J6ers. He'll look into them and make sure that they're not doing trouble, and he will pardon them or commute their sentence and they will go free. He said that before the election, so now he wins president, and that is a mandate that he's allowed to say, look, I ran on this, you could have voted against it if you wanted to, and you didn't. So yes, J6ers show what a righteous pardon should be when someone is a political prisoner. Like they were only put there in jail for political reasons. And Hunter Biden was overlooked purely for political reasons. And when the Biden's own Department of Justice found him guilty and before they even sentenced him, by the way, Biden came in and preemptively pardoned him. So that is political. So when Trump pardons someone, it is not political. When Biden does pardon someone, they are political.
that is weaponized also.
I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about the New York trial. And now the Democrats on our side there were some that were gleeful, calling it like, now he's a convicted felon and those things. And now for our party, we were talking about criminal justice, and we are now talking about second chances. And now all of a sudden now you're like, well, he's a convicted felon and all these things. And now clearly, again, both of those trails, the Hunter Biden one and the trial in New York for Trump, that was clearly those politically motivated, and those kinds of charges would have never been brought unless one side could they realize that they could weaponize that.
That's John Fetterman agreeing that the government's been weaponized. In this case, he's saying against Hunter Biden and the President Trump, although making Trump into a felon was obviously political, and finding Hunter Biden, who did indeed cheat on his taxes, millions of dollars in taxes he didn't pay. He didn't pay child support. He illegally had a gun. There's a whole phone book on the thousands of crimes that he performed. So that is not political to charge him. It is justice to charge him. But fine, he got pardoned. The president is allowed to pardon Hunter Biden, blanket, but the Democrats are going, give him a second chance. Where's the second chance for Trump? No second chance for Trump. And no second chance for J6. They're going to lose their caca when Trump releases the J6ers. And then Biden commutes or stops the death penalty on 50 of the people on the federal death penalty list. And Democrats are claiming they want compassion. This is insane. What do you guys think? Will Joe Biden pardon himself? Will Joe Biden pardon Jim Biden? Let me know in the comments below. I'm John Mike Keene. Thanks for watching, and give us a subscribe.